Alright, so I'm going to do a taper no guard fade. We really don't touch the top much at all. He likes it disconnected up here, but to skin here and then skin in the back. So what I'm going to do is I usually always fade top down unless I'm coming in with something like this where I want it super close right here and I don't want it to go really high. I'll come in and set a guide right here. So I'll come in and set a guide with my edgers because that's how close I want it, and then I'll start fading top down from there. So I'm gonna draw a line basically from the bottom of this point to the tip of his ear, and you can see where I faded it last, how it's kind of grown out. Has it been like 2 weeks? So just from here to here, I'm just gonna come in and draw a nice line. Sometimes I'll even use a comb just to give me a good guide here. So something like that. And when I come in, I'm not pressing super hard. I don't want to make like a really harsh line. And I'll come back and clean that up later. So basically that just allows me to know that I'm not taking that no guard up too high. I always have one of these brushes that we have at both campuses in my hand just to get any excess off. Okay, so now I'm gonna come in with my two. I want to make sure that all of this is very up and out of the way. Like I don't want to get into this hair at all. Again, it is completely disconnected, so I'm really only going to be fading from here down. So with a real to a close to, I'm going to come in opposite of the hair growth, pulling the skin tight, and now I'm just going to start fading it back down. So I started off here, but now I'm coming back to the top. His hair growth is coming down and back, so that's why I have the clippers here. Alright, that's not taking much. So I'll go ahead and come down to the 1.5. Again, I'm pulling the skin tight. I'm not working on this yet, so you're still going to continue to see this harsh line. I'm really just working up here. I'm going to close it to the 1 and drop down a little bit. Opening it back up because I see a shadow right in through here. Light-handed with that. Okay, so now I have a guard off, so I'm just gonna push it up to a 1/2 guard. And I'm going to come in and start trying to fade out that line. Really light-handed. I'm not gripping this hard right now. I have the skin pulled tight, and I'm really just using my fingers and my wrist to flick that off. I'm going to close it to 1/4 and go down even lower. And then fully close it and go right into the line I created at the very beginning. So we've already got a pretty seamless blend. I am gonna take this in-between guard between the 1.5 and 2 and just come right back up here. Okay, now we'll move on to the other side. All right, once I've got the guide set, again, I'm gonna come up 2, 1.5, 1, half guard, 1/4 guard, no guard. So set the guide and then I fade top down. One and a half. And 1. Pushing that back open to the half just to make sure I got all the hairs up here. Okay. Now with it open, half guard. Close halfway for a 1/4 guard. And then finally, completely closed for no guard. Okay, so now for the back. Okay, so here in the back, again, everything above, like the crown and up, I don't touch. So basically from here down, fading this into skin, only taking the bottom maybe just like 1 or 2 fingers high with true skin. I'm going to line this out back here to make sure that it stays really crisp and clean. But really I'm just going to start in with like a 3 around the occipital bone, planning on not even touching any of this up here. Okay, so he just picks this all up and out and froze it out. So all we're worried about is clean edges, not worried about anything up top. So I'm going to put the 3 on, see if that takes anything off. It might not. So as soon as I cut that hair, you can see it's coming this way. So I know that its growth pattern wants to come that way too. So making sure that you're not going just one way with the clippers, that you're coming in the way that it's growing out the head too. Okay. So that was a 3, I'm going to go to 2.5. Each time I'm just getting a little bit lower. Okay, now the 2. One and a half. I'm going to start off with light pressure at first. Once I feel like I've got control over this area, then I can come in with a little bit heavier pressure. So I'm going back over it quite a few times. One pass is not going to be enough for as dense as his hair is. He's got a lot of hair. Now I'm going to close it to a 1. Right here is growing up, so I've got to come upside down. Okay, now I'm going to come in and line them out. I'm not going to line them out down here because we're taking that to skin. I don't want to create a line and have to come in and take it out. However, right in through here, all of this out, you can tell where his natural hairline starts and stops, and that's all I'm going to work with. So from the mastoid down, I'm just going to bring that in a little bit. I always have my kickstand here with my finger. Okay, now I can come in with the half guard, quarter guard, no guard, just in this nape area. So half guard, pulling the skin tight again. I have him looking down because that allows me to have the skin stretched out, his skin stretched out, so I don't have to pull quite as hard. And quarter guard. And finally, no guard. Back in with the one, just to clean up. Don't be afraid to put your guards back on and go up higher. I'm going to open it up and go a little higher now. Okay, so when the hair is fading in, the whole purpose is to not be able to see where the hairline ends. So fading from even hair as long as all of this underneath the occipital bone is like a 2, you can fade into skin pretty quickly. Anything longer than that through here, it gets harder to fade it all the way into skin. Okay, so now I'm gonna finish up all of my line out work. Also, we'll come back in and tailor this in a little bit over the ears, and then we'll be finished. So I'm just gonna take this 1.5. We don't do a whole lot with this area on him, just to keep the hair like dark and thick right in through here. So the main area that we go to skin is the back and the front. But I do want to make sure that it blends. All right, line them out. So you can see previous line out pretty simply. I'm just gonna hold that tight back. I always like to start in the middle and mark my middle and come out to the sides. As far as this goes, this is already gone, so I'm just gonna curve this out right here and then keep this at a nice point, and then we'll square off everything else. So I just touch it. Instead of worrying about all the hair underneath it, I just touch it where I want to line it out at. And then you can come in and clean it. Close your eyes for me. Can I take all this off again? Alright, so I'm just coming in, getting them brushed off. A lot of what I'm seeing might just be loose hair, so I just like to come in, get everything cleaned off. And then we will pop back on for an after. Okay, so I have the Woody's pomade. I put it pretty liberally in my hands and I'm just really working it in. I'm gonna leave the top again alone. We usually just will pick that out, but I'm just gonna lay these sides down nice and clean and then comb it in to get any color out of there. Alright, so I'll spin them around one more time so you guys can see. We went through with a 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5, 1, half guard, quarter guard, no guard in the nape. Laid in the edges right away at first, and then faded top down after that. And same thing on this side.